Yo, check mic 1 2. Okay, there we go. Yo, mic. Let me get out of here. Hold on. My fault, y'all. I'm kind of still new to this stuff, getting used to it. Anyways, what's up, y'all? Day 31 retention. Feeling good, man. I just want to play some music, man, and get the vibe right, because I'm feeling great. I don't know about y'all, but I'm feeling tremendous. Feeling very tremendous.
And his own story was as curious as his narrative. The tale of his life is the tale of a writer of incredible vision, an astute analyst and pundit, a lyricist compassionate and callous, a reckless hedonist, and disaffected malcontent. I spit that Wonderama shit, me and my conglomerates, shall remain anonymous, caught up in the finest shit. Get that type of media coverage Obama get. Spit that Kurt Vonnegut kid. That blow your brain, Kurt Cobain, and Nirvana shit. Who gon' bring the game back? Who gon' spit that rainbow on the train tracks? That go with that 5-finger ring rap. Running with my sand tank. You can find the price where the lepers and the lanes at. Life is like a dice game. One roll to land you in jail or cut your cake blowing kisses in the rice rain. Nice whip, nice chain, closet of stalls. The stench is like slave blood in Providence Hall. Yeah, they built my city on top of a grave. Nigga die, nigga get high, you watch the parade. Back in the early 90s, where they at?
Get the gat was a popular phrase.
Valley animals and rugby's was a popular craze. It's the vivid memoirs of an obnoxious slave. I paved ways like that and Harriet. I'll blast on you, Iscariot, build off in the chariot. I'm sitting pretty, spitting flames, gripping brains. Ain't a damn thing changed. How did you do it? My young lad, you ask a dolphin how it swims? No. Or an eagle how it flies? No. That's what you do. Because that's what they were made to do. You are about to bear witness, my friends, to one of the greatest technological advances in modern history. No! Confectionery. Yes, Candyman, spit me a dream. Blowing chalk in the levee out, spit me a stream. Knocking man house down to build a casino. A $2,000 government check from Fiend. I swam down Shit's Creek and came up clean with a new lease on life like Andy Dufresne. It's the most poetical, that king of political. Clarence 13X, a large rhapsody from Bellevue. I'm splitting habits, spitting flames, bringing change. Things
Never be the same.
I got the rap game singing that last like Etta James. Lanes get their plane shot down like John McCain. It's a dream. The flow's elegant like Miss Coretta Scott King. A lot of kings sing death and turn queen. Cracked in 24-inch rims in the ravine. Respect the architect, never test the Elohim. Good night, this is jail and live from New Orleans.
My journey brought me to an understanding of the divine forces with which we have all been bestowed. It was in this search that I came upon a revelation, which has called me to guide millions of people towards their righteous destiny.
What up, retainers, man? Dylan is here, man. I'm back with it. Wanted to get on live with y'all and just chop it up for a moment. I'm feeling really good, man. I'm finally back on a month of retention. Feels like it's been forever since I've been able to get this long of a streak, but as I've mentioned previously, I haven't really been looking to go on a long streak, even though I said I wanted to deep down. It's been not a priority for me, but until recently, I really realized this is what I want to get back on and experience the full benefits of a long retaining journey, right? So here I am, 31 days in. I'm feeling great. I don't know if you guys can hear it. My voice feels like it's booming. It got that mega bass in it. I want to just talk about the ups and downs of this journey, man. You know, it's not all peaches and rainbows. It's not always the easiest, but it's most definitely worth it, man. I recommend every man getting on this journey, especially to the ones that uh, are in this society that we're in, where we're constantly being bombarded with just sexual imagery and temptations and perverted lifestyles all around us. This is something we all got to be on at some point to counteract this negative energy that's coming on us, man. So I want to say, man, first off, when you're going to be retaining, it's very weird that you're going to experience wet dreams. I want to talk about that because it's the weirdest thing because I didn't have wet dreams as an adult until I started retaining. I only had wet dreams maybe here and there when I was a teenager. When I first started going through puberty and was able to, release, you know what I'm saying, as a youngin', every now and then you might have had a wet dream and it was very rare. But it's the weirdest thing in the world how when you make a conscious decision to retain, how in your dreams you suddenly get these attacks from these goddamn what do they call them, succubus, these it's just these pornographic dreams you can have where you're attacked and suddenly it's almost like it's very frequent where you get attacked by these entities. Sometimes you'll give in and have a wet dream. Sometimes you'll be able to fight it off and not release in your dream. But I just find it very weird, man, how this can happen as an adult when you're retaining. Like, what is that about? What are these attacks? And how do we counteract them? How do we avoid them? Because, of course, you don't want to spill your seed when you're dreaming. You're doing all this hard work to retain on purpose for a long period of time. You certainly don't want to spill it while you're sleeping. That's the worst, right? So how do we counteract this? Well, I've come up with a few solutions that I realized we can avoid doing this, right? So number one I've noticed is you want to avoid eating too late, right? You want to avoid eating, I say, no more than an hour before you go to bed. And that's probably pushing it. You might want to do like 2 hours before you go to bed. Just lay off the food, get your dinner out the way, and you don't want to have a heavy, full stomach. I've noticed that can cause some issues. So, get your dinner in. You go to bed at 10, 11 o'clock, get your dinner in, be done by 8. I recommend it, right? 2 hours. Secondly, this one is pretty easy, but I've noticed it's very much influential, is looking at too much sexual imagery during the day and just during your waking hours, looking at too much perverted shit. You want to avoid this type of imagery because it's going to influence your subconscious, which, dreams are already a weird thing. We don't really understand dreams. But these kind of things you want to avoid altogether. I shouldn't have to say that. That's kind of a given, but it can definitely influence you in the wrong way. So avoid that altogether, right? That should be easier said than done. Well, it is easy. And the third thing that I've noticed is sleeping on your stomach. This one is the one that kind of catches you off guard because sometimes when you're sleeping, you're very, you're changing positions to whatever's comfortable while you're sleeping. And you'll find yourself at some point, you might lay on your stomach. And it seems harmless at first. But I'm telling you guys, if you want to avoid wet dreams, man, try to sleep on your back or on your side. I don't know what it is, but I actually kind of have a hypothesis. But when you're sleeping on your stomach, I think your mind plays these tricks on you because you're sleeping on your stomach and it's almost like you have this pressure now on your front surface of your body, right? This pressure of the floor or of the bed. And now your mind can turn that into like there's a body in front of you, right? If you're sleeping on your stomach, your mind can turn that into a trick of like, oh, there's somebody in front of me, like a woman. And now you got this weird dream that you're having, right? Like I remember I had this wet dream, man. I was sleeping on my stomach. And you know how you sleep on your stomach and you got your leg cocked up, one leg cocked up, one leg down, you know, real comfortable, right? And in this dream, I remember I'm literally, it was like a very pornographic dream that I don't really want to go too much into detail, but let's just say I remember in this dream, it was very vivid. This woman, like we're on this bed and I remember like in my dream trying not to, I'm like, I don't want to bust. I don't want to bust. Like, we'll just have sex and whatnot. I'm not going to bust. And I remember I eventually was getting ready to go inside her. And we're on this bed. And this bed was like bent. It was like a bent, crooked bed. And I remember trying to like get inside her, but it was so awkward. And I'm just sitting here trying to position myself, you know, to get in there. And I remember as soon, like damn near almost as soon as I put it in her, I felt the release coming, right? I felt the release coming as soon as I was getting in position in this dream. And I remember the bed was bent. It was a weird position. I'm like, why? This is so uncomfortable. And as soon as I got inside her, I pretty much like ejaculated, right? And I remember waking up out of my dream and I had busted in real life. And I'm like, had my leg cocked up in this weird position. And I was just like, oh, fuck. I put two and two together that my mind was putting this scenario, is painting this picture while in real life, my body was in this weird position, if that makes sense. And I'm just like, bro, what the? I didn't want to do that, you know? But your mind plays tricks on you, man. You got to watch that. You got to really be mindful of that to avoid these wet dreams, right? But I just wanted to talk about that and, you know, make that a clear thing because, man, it's one of the hardest journeys that you'll go on, man. But like I said, it's very worth it to get started. And just want to let you know, you can expect that to happen. Expect wet dreams to come, these temptations to come. You got to understand, like I don't know too much about spirituality, but I do know that spirituality is real. The spirit world is real. And you know, we do have different chakras, you know, from the lower base chakra, the root chakra, right? All the way up to the top, which is supposed to be the higher energy. And we're supposed to be operating in these higher energies, man. And I know that when you retain, you're attracting you're attracting these like what I feel like are darker energies, right? That are trying to steal that in some way, you know, because you're trying to get into this higher tier of energy. You're trying to become higher than what most people are at, which is base level nature. Most people are at a very low level. And so for some reason, you're going to get tempted to release. You're going to get tempted to bust it out, get it out of you, and get you back on that low level, which is what we don't want. So I just want to let you guys know this is something to expect and something to counteract and work against no matter what. But nonetheless, man, I think every man should get on it. We need more men to get on this journey to master their own discipline. Because, man, this is one of the best forms of discipline you can practice that you can fully control. Once you become a retainer and you make it a conscious decision, man, everything else in life becomes a lot easier. Um, you know, I've been able to stop smoking weed, which was a pretty difficult habit that I've had for a long time. You know, I've quit before, but I haven't really fully quit to where there was no desire to get back to smoking like I have now. Like now I have zero desire to smoke. And I always remind myself as to why there's no reason to smoke, even when I have these temptations to smoke again, because it always pops up here and there. You know, anybody that's had any sort of addiction, you know, they always say it never goes away. You know, the temptation to get back into it never really goes away. But once you can get away from those addictions, it does get easier. I gotta say, it does get a lot easier the further along you go into it. And what really makes it easier is being conscious about it, being aware of your temptation, of your need to get back into it, right? And what helps me in my situation is always reminding myself as to why I quit in the first place. In the same way that you break up with an ex and you don't get back with your ex, you always remember, why did I break up with her? Oh, yeah, that's why. Duh. And you leave her alone. You don't go back to her. You don't even consider it. So for me with weed, it's always been like this fun thing to do that started back in college and was a form of escape. It was a form of fun, you know, being kind of silly and goofy and letting my mind wander off into these silly adventures at the time. You know, I used to love smoking weed, but I'm always reminded of the negative parts of it. And that's what helped me stay away from it. The negative parts of, oh, I got to spend money every so often, more money than I'd like to spend. The times that I, you know, have picked up some weed and it was terrible quality, and it's like I'm wasting money. It's bad for my health. I could tell some of this weed is terrible. You know, you got to remember all these things to stay on the path that you're trying to stay on. But I say all of this to say, man, once you retain, it's like a form of discipline that helps you out with other forms of discipline. And it's a beautiful thing. You know, as I said, man, retaining, once you start doing it, it does get easier because it's all it is just not having sex if you can avoid it. If you're still having sex and you want to retain, you can still do it. It's just going to be very hard. That's the only time it gets really hard, is still having sex while retaining, which I did for many years. But as of late, I've kind of decided to really take a break from women and dating per se, or having sex really. I'll still talk to women and, you know, date, but it's not a priority for me anymore. So I know that this year will be a lot easier to go through and hit my goals of, I really want to hit a year of retention, a full year at least, just to say I did it in my youth. You know, as you get older, it's a lot easier to be an old man retaining. Of course, that's like super easy after a certain period of time. But to retain in your youth is a very strong feat to accomplish. So any of you guys that are younger, man, and you're able to get on this journey, I recommend it as soon as possible, because unfortunately, that's when a lot of us are victim of this society, and we're taught about, porn and whatever. If you're gotten into that, many young boys and young men have gotten into porn, and it's just zapping your energy in a way that you couldn't even imagine. So if you can go on a long retention journey in your youth, man, you're going to be so much further ahead and on your path towards greatness that you're supposed to be on. And I commend you, man. You guys deserve a round of applause. You guys deserve so much recognition. And, I fully commend you guys. I want you guys to let yourself be known. I want you guys to let me know who you are, man, in the comments section if you're watching this, because I want to uplift you guys and recognize you for being able to rise above this in such a young age where your hormones are going crazy. You're surrounded by beautiful women that are your age, that every man wants, young and old. So you're in this position where, man, it's tough. I know how tough it is. So that's essential, man. I got to commend you guys that are doing it at a young age. I swear to God, I always wish I could go back in time and start sooner, but it's better late than never, right? So commend yourself for that. But with this journey, man, I've noticed other disciplines become easier. You start to look at other things, and you look further ahead and see that there's other things that are more important than just sexual discipline, which one of them being diet. I think the food that we eat, man, mastering eating the right foods is the hardest discipline in the world. I can't think of anything more difficult than that. Retention is up there. Sexual discipline is up there, but mastering diet is a notch ahead, like by a lot. Because that is what we crave and what we desire to eat. It rules us in such a way that other animals are victim to. But unfortunately for us, we have too many options of food to eat. Right? Other animals, they eat what they eat. Birds, they eat bugs and some, I guess, berries and shit here and there. Bears, they eat fish and some berries and stuff like that. But humans, we have too many options when it comes to food, man. And that's not a good thing. When you're overcome with too many options, too much variety to choose from, it becomes harder to say, I'm going to stick with this only, and I'm going to be disciplined about this. Because now you already had a taste of some some donuts or some bullshit. Maybe you like bacon, you're still eating pork. I don't know what the case is, whatever you like. But overall, it becomes very difficult, man, to master not eating certain foods. And you have to, not only that, but then you get down this wormhole, man. This is why diet is so difficult, because living, especially in America, I live in the US, man, and I don't know if you know this by now, but the food here it's delicious, but it's not nutritious. Let me say that again. It's delicious, but it's not nutritious. The nutrients have been zapped out so badly out here that it's like, even when you feel like you're eating healthy, you find out later that you really weren't eating that healthy. And it's so frustrating, man, to constantly have to go grocery shopping. And it's like a war. Every time it's like you're going to war. You have to find out what you got to read labels. You got to find out what are the ingredients. What are these chemicals on this food? Right? The chemicals on this food are I've never heard of them in my life, right? And one second. Okay. Yeah, so it's really a mind. It's just a psychological battle every time I go to the grocery store. It's just you have to read the labels, you got to read the ingredients, and man, it's a constant battle, right? And it really that alone makes me want to leave this country. Just the food alone makes me want to leave this country because I know that they're trying to kill us, man. It's blatant at this point. It's not even like a hidden agenda. It's like obvious. So you guys, I know I have a few cats that watch me from overseas, man. Like some food here in America is illegal in a lot of countries over the world, right? Because it's just so bad for us. But yet the federal government, the FDA, all these cats, they approve these foods. They're like, yeah, that's fine for you guys to eat. Sure. But yet these other governments across the world are like, man, no, that's killing. That'll kill our citizens. No, you can't have that here. It's crazy, bro. So with that knowledge and awareness is you know that the enemy is here. Like we live amongst our enemy, right? So it's just hard. I'm currently right now looking to just save money up. I'm trying to get rich quickly as possible. And it hasn't been easy. You know, I'm trying to get rich in this way that's kind of fucked up, you know, with stocks and, you know, trading. And then I got my other business that's kind of bullshit. So it's not the easiest thing in the world, but I'm really going hard. I've put away all my fun hobbies, you know, my side pursuits of doing stand-up comedy and all this other stuff. I've put that on pause, man, because now I'm really focused on getting rich for my health, my safety, because we're at war. It's this covert war that we're in, where the people that are in charge of us are trying to kill us, man, because they see dollar signs. The culture is messed up. Don't get me started on the culture here in this country. There's too many attacks from different angles that I can't live here anymore. And it sucks because I love the idea of America, right? You got illegal immigration going crazy. You got people, there's literally planes and busloads of people from other countries, Venezuela, you know, other immigrants from all over. And I'm not saying nothing wrong with immigrants. I'm saying they're taking the worst people from these countries, criminals and people that are just looking to do harm and to wreak havoc and to become squatters, to take over your home legally, right? They're sending all these people on purpose. Our government is taking people from other countries on purpose, bringing them to our country to mess it up on purpose. It's very blatant. If you just pay attention, you see what they're doing. They won't admit it that this is what they're doing, because none of it makes sense when you really think about it. But it only makes sense when you understand that the truth is they want to ruin us. They want to cause harm on you and I. So when you understand the truth of what it is and you stop ignoring it and you stop telling yourself lies to make you feel good about it, you accept it. You just accept the truth. This is what it is. And you decide, what am I going to do about it? And for me, what I'm going to do about it is get the fuck out of here. Excuse my language. I got to stop cursing. I'm trying not to curse as much, but I get passionate about these things, man. It's just very frustrating, man, because I am an American to the bone, man. Little background about me, man. My father was in the military. I was born in Germany as an American citizen, though, through the military and all that. I'm still an American citizen, and I've always lived in America. I've lived in Germany for a few years, in about late elementary to middle school. Then I moved back in like before 8th grade. So I spent about 4 years as a young kid who was aware and understood life. And I was remembered, man, I wanted to come back to the US. Like, I couldn't wait to come back to America because I love America. I love it. I love the idea of America, the freedom, the original freedom of it, the opportunities, right? This is the land of the opportunity. Many people from other countries want to come here for good reason. But as I've gotten older, man, as the years have gone by and you just see what's going on, it's like, what are we doing here? To the point where I'm really considering moving out. I'm really thinking about leaving. For food's sake, for a healthier food, for a cheaper cost of living. Didn't even mention that. The inflation is going crazy. I feel for you people who are working regular jobs, and I don't even know how you're managing to still make a living, to feed your family, feed yourself, pay rent, and still live a happy, balanced life. I just don't understand how that's possible. I mean, I feel like I'm making a decent amount of money to like live comfortably, and I feel like I'm still being robbed, and but that's a whole nother thing. But cost of living, food, the culture is terrible. It's like damn near impossible to date women. The psychology, and I'm not blaming women. I'm just the culture, the whole culture. It's been hijacked by this like demonic spirit that just is trying its best to kick us out, to give us a reason to leave, So, I'm considering leaving, man. I'm thinking about South America. I do know a good amount of Spanish, and I'm looking to hop back on Duolingo and learn all the way, get fluent in Spanish so I can just have a few countries to live in if need be. Maybe even Portuguese. I hear Brazil is pretty cool, but I know they're pretty corrupt as well. So there's just too many things going on that got me considering getting up out of this country, man, that it's very sad. I've seen it just go downhill, man, and it's like nothing you can do. You just got to kind of, what are you going to vote? What are you going to vote for this stuff to get back right? You know what I'm saying? No, like it's all jacked. So you got to really fend for yourself. You got to be sharp out here, man. You have to be well researched. You got to learn what's really going on. You got to learn how to research properly, because if not, the media is going to tell you a bunch of bullshit. I'm sure you guys know by now. But you have to be aware of everything that's going on and all the things that are attacking you at any given moment. And not even just in America, man. Other countries are facing this too, but it's a matter of just being aware of the right things to do, the right things to eat. Make sure you're reading the labels on the food that you're buying, man. Like, do yourself a favor, man. When you go to the grocery store, I want to challenge you, man. When you just buy the stuff that you normally buy. Just give it a shot. Take the box, look at the ingredients, and just look at anything on the ingredients list that you don't even know what it is. Just Google, whatever that word is, and then put side effect. And then you'll be amazed at the shit that we've been eating for so long. I could go on a rant about the seed oils and all this other stuff. We've been tricked into thinking our whole lives that this has been bad for us, like eggs and cholesterol are bad for you. But meanwhile, you learn later, oh, seed oils, these things are killing us at a crazy rate. We have, shout out to Shave Lion King, man. He really woke me up the other day about parasites. We got parasites to worry about as well that are in everybody. There's parasites in all of us. If you're not eating healthy, those things are in you as well. It's just there's too many things bad, man. So I can go on a rant about all this stuff, but I don't want to get too off topic. I want to really focus on sexual urges, man. This all helps you get things in the right direction, man, and avoid these other temptations, these other pitfalls of society that we have to worry about. And I just want you to know, man, we have to support each other, man. We have to look out for one another. I know it's a lonely journey. You're gonna sound crazy talking to your friends about semen retention. I know I've experienced it, doing especially like doing comedy, and telling my friends, my comedian friends at the time, hey man, you guys should try it out. It's good for you, and they just laugh and they look at you crazy like you're an alien. But as time goes on, eventually they'll get on board. They'll hear you out eventually when they're drained and they're just constantly just aging rapidly. It'll happen. They'll wake up eventually. I've seen it happen a lot, as of late. Semen retention is starting to catch on, and dudes are really starting to become aware of the benefits of it. Because deep down, I think we all know as men, like, we shouldn't be just out here busting frivolously and wasting that good energy, man, that God gave us. It's funny, man, because men, we don't want to accept this, right? It's hard to really fathom this, but every time you release, man, you're actually slowly killing yourself. Believe it or not. Every time you release, you're throwing away like good energy. And everything we do in life requires energy. All your body systems require energy. Your heartbeat needs energy. To think requires energy. To digest food requires energy. For your kidneys, your liver, your pancreas, your spleen, all of these systems in your body require energy. So for you to release your seed, man, is such a big spill of energy. Why in this particular way? Why is this particular action such a big spill of energy? Well, it's really because when you bust, you are giving energy to make a baby, a replicate of you. This is meant to make another you, man. A copy of all your DNA, of all your traits, every time you spill your seed. So you're actually, a little piece of you is being chipped off. A little piece of you is being dumped away in hopes to make another you. And I really want you guys to really think about that before you even consider looking at some corn, or just simply laying down with some woman for pleasure's sake. Because that woman, man, when she has an orgasm, right? Just look at that word, orgasm and organ. Those words are very similar. She has an orgasm, an inner orgasm that's actually healing her body. And fellas, you can do the same thing too. We have the same power to heal our inner organs and have inner orgasms without ejaculating. And I can go on that again as well. I've had videos in the past about it, but I want to mention it again because it is real. It's a real thing where you can have inner orgasms as a man and have multiple orgasms without ejaculating, right? But when you ejaculate, man, there's been studies on this that you're shortening your lifespan. Every time you spill your seed, you're shortening your lifespan. You're throwing a piece of yourself away, man. And we as men have to value our energy much more. It's not this hocus pocus stuff. It's real, man. It's literally you're taking a piece of you to replace and pass on your genetics, and we take it for granted. And we got to take it more seriously, fellas. So that's what I wanted to get off to y'all today. And I just want to really emphasize that. And I want you guys to pass the word on to others, man, in any way you can. We got to spread this message. Because the way this world is heading, man, it's not looking good for society. I'm tired of just being on social media and just seeing terrible, like, it's such a domino effect, man, of men lacking sexual discipline and giving in to their every sexual urge. Men of all ages, young and old. It's even worse when you see an old dude that can't control his sexual urges. Because he's been doing that for years, man. An old dude that just gives into his sexual urges is the worst. He's been acting like that for decades. And he's still just this dog. Some old dude that's just giving into that, man. He's the worst. Because he's been doing this for decades and just wasting his energy, making the world worse than what it is. So younger cats, we got to check ourselves, and just dudes in general, we got to check ourselves, man. And be better than what we've been, man. This is vital. We got to be better than what we've been, Like I said, it's a domino effect. It's a snowball effect, It's going to help us, man, in so many ways if we all can get on board with this retention, man. Women won't be able to tempt us as easily. They'll actually be able to respect us as men more. Because women, man, there's a lack of respect that women have for men right now. A supreme lack of respect that women have. And, it's always this excuse. Women just can tell that dudes are not on point. Men are not disciplined. They can tell, and they're running with it. This is why, women just do what they do. We can't even blame them. They're damn near trying to be men nowadays. Because they feel like being a man is so easy. until they actually get out here and try to do it and they realize how tough this shit is. But fellas, if we can just get back focused, man, get on point, stay disciplined. If we could just stay sharp out here, man, I'm telling you, bro, it's going to get easier. Life is going to get more beautiful. And we can get things back to the traditional way and not be all out of control like it is now, man. Because the powers that be, they don't want to see a bunch of disciplined men taking charge, standing up to them. The powers that be, they want a bunch of suckers. They want a bunch of men that are weak, that do as they say. They don't want men that think for themselves and read books that are forbidden and, they don't want that. They want you obeying every command that they have for you. They want you to take every, VAX that they throw at you. They want you to eat up all the media hype that they give you, man. That's what they want. They want good little boys and girls to follow their every move, follow their directions and not listen. And to listen to them. But guys, I know deep down we know better than that. If you're following me, you're probably very disciplined in some aspect. I'm not saying you're perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. But that's what life is all about, man. It's about developing ourselves and working to become the best version of ourselves because, that takes work. That best version of ourselves is inside of us, and we have to bring him out. That guy, that good version of yourself, the greatest version of yourself is inside of you right now and looking to come out. Let me get some water for that one. Takes work. We need to work on ourselves every day, man. Every day there's something you can do to improve. And I've said this before, man. But there's every single day, man, there's something you can do to improve. That's why I'm so passionate about this semen retention, man, and self-development as a man. Because there's never an end point. It's just a constant journey, to the top. Constantly evolving, developing. I don't even want to say the word evolving. Because evolving implies that you didn't have to put in any work. Like a Pokemon. Pokemon, if you watched the show back in the day, Pokemon evolved to the next version of itself automatically. Just after time. Through time, it evolves to the next level of itself. But it didn't do anything to earn it. It didn't go through any steps to get there. It just simply evolved due to time passing. But that's not how life works. You don't simply just become better because you just waited. In fact, there's a law in, I think, thermodynamics that says anything left unto itself leads to, I think, destruction or decay or something. Something negative. Anything that's left unto itself leads to further destruction of itself. Things don't naturally just get better just because. No, things get better when you are intentional about it. When you develop yourself, you try to become better. You're actually putting in work to become better. That's when things get better. Things don't just get better automatically, guys. And I don't want, that's why I don't want to use the word evolve. Plus, the theory of evolution, Darwin, that dude was a bona fide racist. If you actually look this up, his book, I forget the name of his book, but it's literally stating something along the lines of races, the fight for races, of favored races or something. It's like this dude was a clear racist dude, and I don't want to get into that, but point of that is evolution is not real. You know, we don't come from monkeys and apes, right? Because if that was the case, why are apes and monkeys still in existence? Why? It's just silly. Just if you really think about it, they don't just turn into humans over time. No, no, no. Humans are way different than animals. We're not animals. We're an extension of God. We're a representative of God. If you really, I believe so. I mean, you can argue that if you want, but I believe we're too different. You know, people are way different than any animal that's on this planet or anything that's ever existed. Like animals, they do what they do, right? And that's all they do. Like, think of any animal you want and think of what they are known for doing. Dogs, they bark, they growl, you know, they do what they do, and that's it. They don't like suddenly like, oh, let me build a house. Let me go explore the fucking world. You know, let me build a boat. Let me build cell phone towers. No. No animal does. Bees, they only make honey. They make nests. Birds make nests and they eat bugs. You know, bugs do what they do. Elephants, they eat trees and then they chill. That's it. Gorillas eat plants. They're vegetarians. They eat plants only. They're big and strong. They could eat people. They could eat other animals. They don't. They do what they do. Period. That's all they do. They don't wear clothes. They don't suddenly just start studying neuroscience. No. All these animals do what they do. Period. Full stop. But you and I, as people, we can do whatever the hell we want to do if we want. One day you're working at McDonald's, the next day you're pursuing a degree in astrophysics. One day, like me, I drop out of college. I'm like, you know what? I'm doing stand-up comedy. I love telling jokes. Then I'm like, you know what? F that. I'm getting rich. And I'm going to do it however I got to do it. I'm going to figure it out. This is what people do, man. We have options. We do different things. I hope I'm not way too off track. But I just say all that to say, man, this lifetime, man, it's very interesting. We have so many choices to make in this life, and I hope you all make the right choices because there's a lot of choices to make, but not every choice needs to be made. You know, I think it's important to know yourself and to practice discipline regularly, often, and become the best version of yourself and make it a life. Do it on purpose, man. Do this shit real, like really be intentional with life. Because if not, distractions are going to eat you up and they're going to spit you out. And you're going to wake up one day and you're going to realize, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. But these people that are in charge, they're giving me something to do. They're telling me what to do. And I don't want to do it, but hell, I ain't got no other choice. I'm here now. I got to do what they tell me to do. I don't want to see y'all like that, man, especially as men. Men, we're supposed to own our lives. We're supposed to be the ones that take charge of our lives and do what we want and create things and stand up for what's right. I hope you guys are on that path. All right. But that's it, man. I just wanted to have that heart to heart with you guys. This is something I want to do more often, is like go live and have some sort of podcast type format. I know I don't come on here too often, but I want to make this a frequent thing so I can get you guys on here and interact with you guys and make it a regular thing, man, because this stuff needs to be talked about. And we got to make a change, man. Men, we're the ones that can make real changes on this earth, but not to say women can't, but what women are really changing the world, right? You know what I'm saying? So this is really for men mainly, but I'd love to hear women's feedback as well. But that's it, fellas. I hope this helped in any way, and I'll talk to y'all on the next one. Peace out.